Well, hello everybody, it's Greg the Gamer, welcome back to the channel. Hey, today we're going to be hopping into something a little bit different. I know it's not Hearts of Iron 4, but occasionally I like to dip my toes in other things. Today we're going to be exploring Star Trek Voyager, Across the Unknown. Now, I don't know if any of you are out there that like me, of a certain age, and you opine for those lovely Berman-era 1990s Star Trek series. This might be the game for you. I grew up watching TNG, DS9, Voyager, and this game allows you to take command of the Federation starship Voyager as it is stranded in the Delta Quadrant. It is a roguelike survival management game set completely on Voyager. You have to manage the ships, you have to manage the systems, you have to manage exploration, combat, all of those things. So it's definitely pretty interesting. I think probably the best way to kind of to showcase this, let's go ahead and hop into a new game and just kind of show some of the new features. All right, let's go ahead and choose our survival mode here. So we can do adventure, survival, or years of hell. Don't think I want to go down this road just yet, so let's go ahead and kind of pick the mid option here. Resources going to be limited, combat's challenging, so on and so forth. So fantastic. All right, so there we have it. We've started our first mission, so this is effectively the pilot of Star Trek Voyager. We do have dialogue in this game. It is pretty limited. I think they got Robert Duncan McNeil to do Tom Paris's lines, and Michael Russ to come back as Tuvok. But currently, I believe they're the only two main cast members from the 90s show that are in the game currently. However, they did say they were optimistic that might change in the near future, so which is lovely. All right, so Captain Janeway, gentlemen, welcome to Voyager. Ensign Kim, you're fresh from the academy, ready for the first deep space assignment? It's Harry Kim. Still never going to get promoted. Reporting for duty, Captain. It's an honor to be here. I hope I live up to your expectations. Ensign Kim, I trust you already met Tom Paris, our esteemed observer, a former Maquis pilot who will teach us or help us search the Badlands for the Maquis vessel. With all due respect, ma'am, observer is hardly a title befitting my talents. I'm the best damn pilot in the sector. Call me pilot extraordinaire, Ensign. Oh, I've heard stories about them. Relax. I was with the Maquis only a few weeks before I was captured and sent to the lovely little penal colony in New Zealand. Penal colony? Enough chatter, gentlemen. All hands. This is Captain. Report to your stations. Helm, take us into the Badlands. Maximum warp. All right, so we're entering the Badlands, which, if you know your Star Trek geography, is near Bajor and Cardassia. And it's obviously where the Maquis have been hiding bases, so let's see if we can find them. Scanners are picking up no other vessels in the system, Captain. It's your time to shine, Mr. Paris. Any ideas where your former colleagues might be hiding? Wasn't exactly in the Maquis of the year, Captain, but they did prefer underground bases, rogue planets, and... Captain, I don't mean to be abrupt, but I'm reading a coherent Tetrion beam scanning us and a displacement wave heading towards us. Okay, so colossal wave of turbulent energy surges towards Voyager. Its power dwarfing anything the crew has seen. We have no time to analyze the threat. Emergency measures are initiated. Red alert, helm, evasive maneuvers. Too late, the wave will intercept us in 5 seconds. Brace for impact. Uh-oh. It's gonna hurt. As the crew regains consciousness, they find their bridge is in total devastation. Twisted metal, sparking consoles, injured crewmates paint a grim picture. What has just happened? Damage report. Major hull and deck damage. The transporters are offline and we're receiving casualty reports. Bridge to sick bay. Doctor, I've got injured crew on the bridge. Doctor. Damn. Captain, we're losing systems across multiple decks. The deuterium tanks are empty. Warp core's gone to gray mode. We're on reserves barely. Mr. Paris, take the helm. Scan for the nearest source of deuterium. External sensors are offline. Stellar cartography must be down. Voyager's blind, Captain. All right. So, Janeway to engineering. We need stellar cartography back online now. All right, so effectively, the first mission is kind of the tutorial, kind of gets you up to snuff on how everything works, power management, room management, crew management, all the things. So let's go ahead and take a look here. What we need to do is we need to get stellar cartography operational here. So this is as good a time as any to talk about the resources on top of the screen here. Right now we have up here we have torpedoes. If we had any, they would be listed here. We have Borg nanites. We don't have any of those yet. Bioneural gel packs. These are fancy things that allow the computer system to work on Voyager. Pretty important to keep them operational. We have science points that we'll use to conduct research down the road. We have dilithium, very important rare resource that we use to power the warp core. We'll need to make sure we keep a hold of that. Also, deuterium, the thing they were just mentioning. So deuterium is used in the warp core to power systems, and so it is a very, very important resource that you're going to need all the time in the Delta Quadrant. And right now, since we're out of deuterium, the warp core is effectively offline or on low power mode. So that is affecting everything, because the warp core here, spoilers, obviously, powers everything on the ship here. And right now, we just don't have very much power at all. We also have batteries. If we had any batteries, this would be listed here. Geranium is kind of your basic building resource. We're going to need that for repairing rooms and researching and that sort of thing. That is stuff that we'll have to also collect as we go through solar systems as well. The tritanium is also an advanced building resource. That's something we'll also have to keep our eye out for as well. Much harder to find than geranium. And then if we had any food, that would be listed here as well. Right now we have our crew here. You can see idle crew versus standing crew and idle work teams. So the work teams are obviously the teams we'll put to work repairing things. All right, all that being said, let's go ahead and see if we can get the stellar cartography back operational here. So let's go ahead and switch that back on. It's going to require 2 crew to man it and 3 power to turn it on. Captain, sensors are picking up something out there, but what Harry is trying to stammer is we're not in the Badlands anymore. Wah, wah. Okay. Yes. We're not in the Badlands anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore. Where in the hell are we? What is that thing? Where are we? If our sensors are working, we just jumped over 70,000 light years into the Delta Quadrant. The Delta Quadrant? How? Captain, life support systems are failing. This array will have to wait. Mr. Paris, take the helm and find us a deuterium source. We need that deuterium. Got to get things operational. Life support is failing. Okay. You'll see here. So this is the system mode of the game here. Okay. Right here, you have the system mode of the game displayed. You can see Voyager here. If we zoom really far in here next to the caretaker array, low power mode and all. Now, in this solar system, we do have a bunch of planets and nebulas and things like that. You'll see they'll have question marks here. So what we need to do is we need to reveal some deuterium sources here. So let's go ahead and see if we can scan things. Oh, and a lucky day. That gas giant looks like it has deuterium. Let's grab the deuterium then. Fantastic. So effectively, this is going to let us determine our outcomes. So it's a kind of a roll system. So it's based on, averages, that sort of thing. I'll go into that in a moment here. So effectively, we have deuterium sighted at this Class J planet here. We don't have stellar cartography upgraded yet, so we don't know how much we could possibly find there. But what we need to do is we need to set a course here. So let's go ahead and set a course for Voyager. All right, we've entered the gas giant planet, or orbit of it, rather. Captain, we've detected massive deuterium levels in the atmosphere of the Class J planet. Atmospheric conditions are harsh, but the potential fuel yields are exceptional. So we've got 2 options here. We could deploy the collector probes for a safer, more kind of thorough, less efficient collection method. And we can guarantee to get 463, which is great because we have nothing. Or we could try to fly directly into the atmosphere of the planet and open up the Bussard collectors on the warp nacelles and potentially get a bit more. But also, you can see it's got a red line there. It opens us up to quite a bit more risk potential. I think at the moment, as we've just been pulled into Delta Quadrant and we are fairly damaged, let's go ahead and choose the safer option. All right, great. So we got 463. Not a surprise there, really. That was anticipated. All right. Captain, we can now deactivate gray mode. Okay, great. so what we need to do is we need to get the warp core off of low power mode here. So the deuterium, like I said before, is fuel for the warp core. So let's go ahead and get the warp core primed again. Right now we're in gray mode, which is not really putting off any power at all. So let's go ahead and get that turned back on to tier 1. All right, great. So energy levels are returning to normal. Fantastic. Okay, so, all right. We got to figure out what this array is here. I can't tell you, Captain, but our scanners detected a Maquis vessel next to it. Okay, so we've got a couple options here. We could use our sensor array because we just powered that now. And we could scan for life signs, or we could try to hail them. I think we'll go ahead and we'll scan for life signs. Scan the ship for life signs, Ensign. There's no one on board, Captain. All right, let's scan the array. What about the array? Oh, we failed, unfortunately. Seems our sensors can't penetrate it. We'll just have to see for ourselves. I want the transporter room repaired and ready. All right, Mr. Paris, get us a geranium deposit. We needed to repair the transporter room. Okay, great. And like I explained before, we need to get ourselves some geranium. Currently, we're max capacity is limited to 100 versus like 1,000 for our geranium, or our deuterium rather. But let's go ahead and scan some other things around here. We have a Talaxian freighter here of deuterium source. More deuterium. Okay, we do have a geranium source at this Class E planet here. We don't know how much is possibly there, but it's 5 cycles away. So effectively the game is split into cycles, units of time. So as Voyager travels, you will kind of constantly burn your resources up. And so again, careful resource management is critical to surviving in the Delta Quadrant. So it's going to take us 5 cycles. Let's go ahead and get Voyager to set a course for this planet. Okay, a small debris field here. We detect a small debris field scattered across a wide area. The debris appears to be remnants of a vessel. Maybe we could find something useful in there. So we can 100% guarantee we can collect 44 geranium, which should probably be fine. Or we could try to use the tractor beam to maybe collect a little bit more. Of course, there's a yellow bar here, so it's a little bit more risk. I think maybe the risk is worth it in this instance. Great. Okay, we got an excellent outcome here. So we got 69 giggity geranium. So fantastic. We now have all the geranium we need. Engineering is standing by to repair the transporter, Captain. Okay, so kind of the same song and dance here. So as you can see, by the way, I didn't really scroll out here, but there we go. Voyager is highly damaged from having been pulled into the Delta Quadrant. You can see all of these rooms are ruined. Heavy damage across all the decks, and most of our major systems are damaged. So we are not in a good way. Not in a good way at all. Okay. Now that we do have the geranium that we need, let's go ahead and repair the transporter room. It's going to use one of our available work crews. We only have one available anyway, and use 14 geranium, and it will take 0 cycles. So, fantastic. All right, transporters are back online, Captain. All right, great. Mr. Paris, set course for the array. It's time to get some answers. All right, I think we do need to get back to the array, but we're a little low on geranium again, or excuse me, deuterium again. So, and there is a planet nearby here, 1 cycle away, so I think it's probably worth stopping by on our way back to the array. Okay, kind of a similar thing here. We could easily collect 434, or we could risk it for a biscuit for 668. I think I'm going to go ahead and just do the easy option here. So 434. We have plenty for the moment. Let's go ahead and fly back to the array. All right. Voyager is returned back to the array. Ensign Kim and Mr. Paris, get ready for your first away mission. Okay. So this will highlight the away system here. So we're going to be doing a lot of away team missions as we progress the story through, the whole, Voyager 7 series or 7 season series. in the Delta Quadrant here. So we need to choose, well, in this instance, we can only send, Harry and Tom, but effectively you can see here, there are different things that we need to ideally fill up here, criteria that will allow us to be more successful on away team missions. So let's go ahead and choose Tom Paris. He's a pilot. You can see that he, with his, he's got a 25 Starfleet, 13 engineering, and 21 medical. He's also a pilot. So you can see that he checks a lot of the boxes here we need to, hopefully fulfill all the challenge needs of this away team mission. And then we'll go ahead and choose Harry Kim. He's got engineering 25, 29 science, and he's quick-witted. And of course, obviously, we have all the challenges met here, so fantastic. Recommended traits for pilot and quick-witted. What a coincidence. We have exactly what we need. Let's go ahead and start the mission. Captain, we seem to have materialized in the middle of a cornfield. This place is eerily similar to Earth, but something's off. Any suggestions of what to do next? All right, so we've got a couple options here. So we can either have Tom look for any footprints or strange noises. Effectively, that's a 25%, bare minimum or whatever to be successful. That he has 29 skill, so we should be just fine. There is a little bit of risk involved as well, but I think probably more likely what we're going to do is choose Harry Kim here with and scan for any life signs or strange energy signatures with his tricorder. He could easily match this with a 33 science, so let's go ahead and choose that. Great, success. Harry and Tom use the tricorders to scan for life signs to detect a strange energy spike emanating from the nearby area. Following the readings, they navigate through the corn and find a farm with people working the fields. An old man sits on a porch of a nearby farmhouse, strumming a banjo. Captain, this old man seems harmless enough. He might know what's going on. How should we approach him? All right, great. So now every time you use one of your away team members, they'll get fatigued for one of the next challenges. That'll fall off, 2 challenges later. So it's not necessarily a major issue, but it does reduce their stats just a little bit. All right, so we can demand to know what is going on. With Tom here, there's much more of a risk. We can try to read his body language for any clues. I mean, that definitely seems like probably the path we're going to go. Tom could easily clear that with his medical. We also gain 5 research points out of that, which is fantastic. And I'd prefer not to use Harry as we just used him for the last challenge. Okay, great. Harry and Tom discreetly observe the old man, trying to analyze his body language. Something feels off, like he's putting on an act, but they can't quite put their finger on it. The old man seems perplexed by their presence, muttering about Harry and Tom being early. It's not their turn yet. He invites them to stay on the farm and wait, offering some fresh corn cobs. All right, we got 5 points out of that. Fantastic. The old man isn't much help, and we'll try to find the marquee ourselves. There's a large barn behind the farmhouse. The tricorder readings are off the charts. There's definitely something strange about it, especially the back wall. Okay, so there's got a couple options here. We can investigate the barn door, we can try to analyze the energy readings, or we can try to find a way to break the illusion of the wall. I'm leaning towards using both of our crew members here to do that because we're guaranteed a successful outcome based on their stats. And the rewards are 150 deuterium, so that's pretty darn good and low risk. Oh, fantastic. We got a critical success. Harry and Tom try to disrupt the energy field, causing a flickering error, but before they can break the illusion, the people from the field burst in, wielding farm tools as weapons. The old man appears, reveals the barn as an illusion, back wall dissolving, show a bluish glowing room where unconscious people, including a tattooed man and a half-Klingon woman, lie on surgical tables. Fantastic. We got 225 out of that, even more because we hit a critical success, so that's going to be great for us. Now, you'll notice that we haven't had that deuterium added just yet because we don't get any of our resources unless we're successful and we make it back to the ship, obviously. So I do like that. These people must be missing Maquis. They're being held here, Captain. We must get them out of here. All right, so both of them are fatigued, which is, not ideal, but, it's fine. We'll be all right. So we can try to wake up the tattooed man with Tom here, and that would be Chakotay. If you try to wake up B'Elanna, guaranteed success. We'll get 200 more deuterium. Boy, howdy. I'm thinking the deuterium would be nice. Uranium, we need a little bit more, but more importantly, like Chakotay, having explored this already, is a little bit more valuable of a crew member to have awake early on in this mission than B'Elanna Torres. Don't get me wrong, she's a great engineer and everything, but I'm thinking that we go ahead and try to wake up Chakotay. All right, great. We have success here. And again, it says your choices have consequences. And that's one of the things I love about this game so far is the choices that you make are long-term consequences. So not only to the ship and its crew, but the outcome of your mission to get home. So there are no go-backs. You make a decision and it blows up in your face. That is what it is. Tom rushes towards the tattooed man, hoping to shake him awake. As he reaches out, the old man stops him, a look of concern on his face before Tom can react. Blinding white light fills the room and everything goes blank. We did get our 20 uranium. Fantastic. All right. Great. So, mission complete here. We did level up. Harry and Tom both leveled up to level 2. We got 5 science, 225 deuterium, and 20 uranium. Fantastic. Excellent. Captain Janeway anxiously awaits the return of her away team when Tom Paris unexpectedly materializes behind her. What happened on the array? Captain? What happened over there, Mr. Paris? We lost contact with you for several hours. What? We're there for only an hour, right? Harry? Harry was right beside me. Then he's still in the array. All right, so we've got to find Harry Kim. The Maquis are hailing us, Captain, putting them on screen. I'm Commander Chakotay of the Maquis. My chief engineer, B'Elanna Torres, is missing. Is she with you? No, Commander. One of our own is also missing. It seems we share a problem, and we would make sense if we solve it together. 3 of us will beam over to your ship. Despite Janeway's invitation, the arrival of Chakotay and his Maquis crew on the bridge is fraught with tension. Both sides remain wary as they prepare to discuss their shared predicament. Captain, this is Tuvok, my... Oh, I know who he is. I'm glad to have you back, Tuvok. As am I, Captain. Commander Chakotay, I must inform you that I was assigned to infiltrate your crew. Were you going to deliver us into Starfleet's waiting hands, Vulcan? Correct. However, I assure you, I performed my duties aboard your ship to the highest standards. Charming. And I see you have Paris with you too. Are you forming a Maquis Traders Club, Captain? You win some, you lose some, Commander. Let's focus on bringing Torres and Kim back from the array. We can't get back inside. They've sealed the entrances and are blocking incoming hails. Lieutenant Tuvok, get down to engineering and find a way to bypass whoever's jamming our communications. Report back as soon as you have a solution. Okay, Captain. The ship's status remains critical. Repair protocols are imperative. We require resources and engineering office to mobilize additional workforces. So we need to get that office operational so we can get more forces recruited so we can repair more of the ship. We're going to prioritize life support, ensure core decks, and restore Deck 5 functionality first. Okay, let's go ahead and we need to get life support back up on Deck 5 here. So let's go ahead and turn that on. It's going to require 18 power. It's fine because we're not in gray mode anymore. We can actually afford it. Fantastic. Life support is restored on Deck 5. Captain Engineering Office is now accessible. Okay. And of course it's a mess. Sigh. We're going to have to fix it. So Everything is damaged on Voyager. So we need to get the engineering office operational here. This is going to provide us with an extra work team, which is pretty darn handy. And we're going to use them to continue to clear the rooms on Voyager. And I'll get into more on that in a moment here. It's long story short, it's good for our resource management. All right, so let's go ahead and repair. We're going to need a work team. It's going to take 2 cycles and use 8 duranium. Okay, until completion, it would be logical to scan all planets in the system and gather more deuterium and uranium. I agree. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we're working with here in the system. We do know that a couple sources of deuterium here. Let's scan this planet. Some duranium, deuterium. Okay, let's go ahead. We're doing okay on deuterium at the moment here. Let's go ahead and get some more uranium here. So we'll set course for this Class Y planet. Fantastic. The engineering office has been completed. So let's go ahead and enter the ship here. And, yep, office is operational now. Fully operational, Captain. We now have an additional work team to carry out 2 tasks simultaneously. Fantastic. Okay, logically, we should now focus on Deck 2 and the mess hall to ensure the crew's food supply, maintaining their physical endurance. All right, fantastic. So now that we have an extra work crew, let's put them to work here. So we need to restore life support on Deck 2. Let's get that going here. All right, life support as restored on Deck 2. However, it has sustained extensive damage. Emergency rations are currently deployed at the mess hall. After repair, the ship can access replicator rations again. Okay. So right now we're using emergency rations, but let's go ahead and get the mess hall operational again. Again, it's going to require resources and 3 cycles to repair. All right. Okay, until completion, we should address crew accommodations. The ruin room must be cleared to create room for residential sections here. Okay, so effectively what he's mentioning here. So we have 2 pressing issues in the moment. Of course, we've addressed one of them is the food issue. The crew is effectively starving. And we have 50 unhoused crew members or quarterless crew members here. You can see our morale here of the crew is going to continue to fall by 80 per cycle, which is not good. So we need to address both of these ASAP because crew morale is pretty darn critical to a successful mission, obviously. So we have a ruin room here. So ruin rooms, we need to go in and clear the debris. So when we clear the debris, we're going to gain 16 uranium. Okay. All right, mess hall is operational here. Fantastic. Okay, cool. We should switch on the replicator rations now. This would enhance crew well-being. I agree. So if we go into the mess hall here, so right now we're on emergency rations, which is negative 40 morale, which, it's not giving us any favors here. So let's go ahead and turn on premium replicator rations. Now that's going to fix a good portion of our morale slip. But one of the resources that we're going to use to do that is it eats duranium. So, 1 duranium replicates food for 3 crew per cycle. So it's going to continue to eat into our duranium just like our warp core. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay. Now that we're at the asteroid field here, we've located a rich asteroid field containing valuable minerals, so we can use the standard mining procedure for a low yield. We don't have the science laboratory yet, so we don't have that option, so let's just go ahead and grab that. Okay, we've got a 45% reward here, so we got 35 duranium, which is, it's fine. It's better than nothing. We max out our capacity at 100 anyways, so that's going to be fine for now. And let's go ahead and try to pick up a bit more deuterium here. Okay, great. The ruin room is done. We've cleared the debris from there. So what we need to do is we need to focus on some crew quarters. Maybe we can finally rebuild some of the crew quarters. My back is killing me from sleeping in the corridor. I'll do wonders for morale, that's for sure. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and choose... We need to build some quarters here, so let's go ahead and choose the crew option here. Now, we do have quite a few options, but at the moment, those are locked out to us. The only thing that we can really focus on at the moment is emergency quarters, which accommodates 12 crew. It's cramped and not great. It's going to still eat into our morale by -1 per cycle, but it is still a lot better than where we are at the moment. So let's go ahead and queue that up. All right, great. It's going to take 6 cycles to build out crew quarters in this room section here, and that'll house 12. Obviously, we have quite a few folks that we're going to need to house long term. We are getting a hail, so let's go ahead and choose that. Captain, the array's jamming signal has been neutralized. We should be able to establish communication. Let's hope they respond. Hail the array. Ah, that's the caretaker, the gelatinous jelly guy. Who is this? Why are you bothering me? Oh, it's you. Why are you back? You don't have what I need. I remember that voice, Captain, the old guy with the banjo, though he seemed a lot less jellyfishy back on the array. I'm Captain Janeway of the Federation of Star Trek Voyager. We mean you no harm. We just want our people back. Your people? Your people are no longer here. They might have what I need. You'll just have to leave them. All right, so we've got a decision to make here. So we can appeal to his, quote, humanity. 40% chance plus 30 based on Janeway's level. We can try to intimidate him, let Chakotay talk, or we can try to scan the array for Harry and B'Elanna. Let's go ahead and scan the array first and see if we can find any more information. I won't rely on the words of a stranger. Scan the array for life signs of Harry and Torres. No sign of them, Captain, and no humanoid life signs indicated at all who or what they're talking about right now. All right, so let's go ahead and try to appeal to his, quote, humanity. We are entrusted with their safety. Their families and friends rely on us to bring them home. They are our responsibility. I understand, but I had no choice. Just not enough time. Time for what? I must honor a debt that can never be repaid. Find something that cannot be found. All right, so we can ask what kind of debt, or we can offer our help. Let's go ahead, and we are playing this as Star Trek-y as possible and as Federation-y as possible. And if you know what that means, you know what that means. So we're going to go ahead and offer help. What are you looking for? Maybe we can help. You? I've searched the galaxy with methods beyond your comprehension. And no, there's nothing you can do. No. You're stealing my time. Don't you understand? I have no time. Not enough time. It had been cut off, Captain. Damn it. All right. Well, we managed to get him open up a bit. Maybe Starfleet diplomacy isn't so bad after all. Captain, if I may. I observed that the array has been sending energy pulses towards the 5th planet of a neighboring system ever since our arrival. Given the lack of information regarding our missing crew's location, investigating the planet appears to be the most logical next step. It's the only lead we may have. Thoughts, Commander? It seems our paths are intertwined, Captain, but let's use the opportunity to find our people and bring them back. Agreed. Mr. Paris, take the helm again. Let's find our people. All right, set a course for the 5th planet, the neighboring system, maximum warp. All right, great. So we need to... we already set a course for this Class Y planet, so we're going to finish this real quick here. All right, emergency quarters are complete. Fantastic. Very cramped, but, weirdly cozy, I guess, in a, Starfleet crew kind of way. So that did house 12 more crew members, but we still have quite a few more to house. So let's go ahead and focus on clearing this ruin room as well, and we'll use that for more quarters. We also do have another idle crew member, our work team rather here. So let's go ahead and continue to see if we can repair different things around the ship. We do have a shield generator here that is not operational. Shields would be very good. Weapons would be very good. I think we're going to need both of them pretty darn soon here. We also have a shuttle bay, main engineering, workshop. I think instead, let's go ahead and the sick bay is damaged here. Let's go ahead and repair sick bay. This is going to take 12 uranium and 3 cycles, but pretty darn useful. We need to get any sick and injured crew members operational as quickly as possible, back on their feet. Okay. All right, so we made it to the debris field here, so kind of the same song and dance with debris, so what do we want to do? I think we just go ahead and take the safe option here. Fantastic. We basically maxed out what we need. Let's go ahead and choose the sector map here now. You can see, so system 336.1 is 5 cycles away. This is where we need to go. And you can see here the 5th planet, Ocampa. So 6 cycles away. Let's go ahead and set a course. All right. We're warping there. So sick bay is complete. Fantastic. All right. Let's go ahead and close that. All right. All right, the ruin room is also complete here, so let's go ahead and... This is a much bigger room than I would have thought, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get some more quarters queued up here. We can afford it. Okay, fantastic. All right, so now we are in orbit of the Ocampa planet here. Captain, we've reached our destination. Orders. So let's go ahead and continue. There we are, Captain. You might say, what a ride. Voyager handles like a dream. Responsive, agile. Don't get too carried away, Mr. Paris. Let's see what we have here. Following the array's energy pulses, Voyager discovered a desert planet with a harsh, unforgiving landscape. Are Harry, Kim, and B'Elanna perhaps being held in this place? What's so special about this ugly old space rock? So we've got some options here. We can do a general scan of the planet. Let's do that. Let's see what we can learn about this planet. Has all the basic characteristics of a classic M planet, but no ocean, no river, nothing. There are settlements. Who'd want to live here? Who would indeed? Strange but intriguing. All right, let's also go ahead and check the energy impulses with our sensor array. Anything noteworthy about the energy pulses? Consistently targeting a single location. A barren piece of desert. Recommend an away team investigate the area. There's something else. The interval between each pulse is decreased by 0.4 seconds since we left the array. They're getting faster. The entity said he's running out of time, right? Whatever that means, we better hurry. Prepare the away team. What is this? Captain, the small ship is approaching. They're hailing us. On screen. Oh, first contact with this annoying guy. A peculiar alien with mischievous grin greets Voyager from his chaotic vessel. Neither Starfleet nor the Maquis have ever seen such a species, perhaps, before. All right, so what do we got here? Greetings. Looking for something on this dusty old rock? Neelix? Would we find anything, mister? Neelix! Never seen a ship like yours. Let me guess. You were whisked away from somewhere in the galaxy and brought here against your will. Sounds as you've heard this story before. Thousands of times. Well, hundreds of times. Maybe 50 times. But the caretaker has been bringing ships here for months now. The caretaker? That's what the Ocampa call him. Probably stashed some of your crew too, right? They're likely down on the planet with the Ocampa. But Captain, it's a tricky place. Dangerous. You could use a guide, but of course a guide needs a little, compensation. Sounds fair. Wonderful. To be honest, I've had it rough recently. those pesky void moles. Wonderful. To be honest, I've had it rough recently. Those pesky void voles have been, try to say that 3 times fast, have been nibbling away at my supplies. Some food and water would be most welcome. If you help us with our missing crew, you can have all the food and water you want. It's a deal. All right, we recruited Neelix. Okay, fantastic. So we should continue to rebuild Voyager and explore the system until Neelix is ready to talk. So, and then once he's ready to talk, then we can continue the story here. So at the moment, let's just kind of look around here. We've got a shipwreck, deuterium, geranium. Anything interesting? Oh, some science over here in the debris field. That could be good. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this deuterium here. Captain, we found an abandoned ship adrift in space. It's powered down, but structurally sound, with sealed storage compartments. So we only have one option here, as we don't have a torpedo launcher yet repaired. So let's go ahead and leave the storage alone. Focus on salvaging from other parts of the ship. Okay, great. So we did lose 38 deuterium, if only because we hit our maximum capacity here. We can upgrade this later through research, but that's kind of down the road. Let's go ahead and grab some of this geranium over here at this Class M planet. Okay, an abandoned mining station. We've come across an abandoned mining station. The station is under lockdown and seems to be damaged. We do have an engineering office now. We could repair parts of the mining station to mine some resources. We get up to 40 out of that, but it does carry a fair bit of risk with it. It would actually put us over a little bit of our total capacity anyway, so I'm thinking we just go ahead and do the safe option here. All right, we got average on there. We got 18 geranium. That's fine. We are being hailed. Let's go ahead and choose that. Neelix, what a delicious meal, a culinary masterpiece. I've never encountered such a tangy but comforting, smooth yet vibrant concoction. What was it called again? Tomato soup. Tomato soup. I'm something of a culinary wizard myself, you know. My alpha and hare pasta bowl is widely known for its bold, mouth-watering taste. Mr. Neelix, I'm pleased you're enjoying yourself, but we need your assistance now. Ah, yes, you're missing crew, right? Scan the northern or the southern continent and look for a range of dead volcanoes. At their foot, you'll find a Kazon Ogla encampment. Kazon Ogla. One Kazon sec of many. Control parts of this quadrant. They're a bit difficult, but with the right approach, they can be reasoned with. I thought you said the Ocampa had our people. Well, you know, the Ocampa do have your people. It's just finding them is a bit tricky. My old pal, Mage Jabin, the Olga leader, would know where to look. He's such a nice guy. Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. So we can send an away team down, or we can ask for more information about the Kazon Ogla. Maybe we'd do that. Is there anything else you could tell us about them? Water is a precious commodity around these parts. The Ogla, they mostly get theirs through trade, so a little liquid diplomacy would go a long way. All right. Let's go ahead and send our away team mission down to the Ocampa planet here. So we need to return back to Ocampa. All right, fantastic. All right, we're going to send the away team. Okay, so we do need a recommended traits here. We do need a Talaxian. We also need a survivalist and an innovator here. So let's go ahead and pick Chakotay. He's the survivalist here. He also adds quite a few other stats here. He's got Starfleet, diplomacy, and tactical. And then, golly, what else? We need an innovator. Do we have an innovator? We don't have an innovator, but we are looking for science here. You can see that we're not yet filled. So let's go ahead and choose Tuvok. He'll easily be able to fill that science role for us. He also has tactical and Starfleet. The away team materializes a small valley between dead volcanoes. The sun burns down on them mercilessly. The air is hot and dry. The sandy wind whips their eyes. Captain, our tricorders are malfunctioning, probably because of the energy impulses. How do we get our bearings in this dust bowl? So we've got a few options here. We do have a survivalist trait with Chakotay here, so we do have an option here that Neelix and Tuvok do not have, which is orient ourselves using the cardinal points. we should be able to have success in this, absolutely 100% based on this, and we'll be able to grab a couple hundred more deuterium out of that, which is pretty much a win-win. We could also struggle through a vantage point here, but it carries a great deal more risk. So I think if we just use Chakotay here. Great, success. Using his survival skills and position of the sun, Chakotay determines the cardinal directions. He navigates the team through the rocky valley, eventually reaching a rocky ledge. Gaining a better view of the surrounding area in the distance, they spot the Kazon Oculus settlement. However, the wind is picking up and the massive sandstorms approaching from the south. We did gain 200 deuterium. Captain, a sandstorm is heading our way. We need to find cover fast. So we don't have an innovator. If we had an innovator, maybe like Balana, we might be able to create a shelter, but we don't. So we can try to build a temporary shelter. Neelix could try to do that, but it needs 35 engineering, and that's just not going to be good enough. And also, we could analyze the area and evaluate the best cover for the storm. It requires 30 science, and we have 18 with Tuvok. So either way, this is going to work very well in our favor. I don't know. I guess we have a slightly better chance of Tuvok. Oh, success. Great. The away team quickly analyzes the terrain, discovers a natural crevice offering best protection from the storm. Rock walls shield them from the worst of the wind and the sand. After that, seems like an eternity, the storm subsides, and the away team emerges unharmed and sets off the direction of the Kazon Oculus settlement. We gain 10 research points as well. Captain, we reached the settlement. How should we approach the people here? So let's go ahead. We need a Talaxian here. So, of course, we're going to use Neelix here, 100% success rate here. It's going to give us 200 to crew morale, which is pretty nice. Okay, Neelix bounds forward, greeting the Kazon Oculus in his usual boisterous manner. The women and children seem to recognize him, but their expressions are skeptical rather than welcoming. The men approach cautiously, weapons in hand. A tall Kazon emerges from the settlement. Jabin, their leader. At the sight of Neelix, his face darkens. In the background, a badly bruised young woman who looks nothing like the Kazon, but more like a human with pointy ears, peers around the corner. Seems like the Kazon don't find Neelix as charming as they let us believe. How should we appease them, Captain? Well, we can assure them no bad intentions, demonstrate strength. We can offer water. Yeah, I don't think we want to do that. He's already fatigued anyway. Now, we could assure them we have no bad intentions. I mean, if we use Neelix and Chakotay, we're guaranteed 100% and 100 crew morale. Crew morale is not terrible. Now, if we use Tuvok and Chakotay, kind of the same thing, but we don't get any rewards out of that. So, yeah, I think why not? Critical success. Away team calmly explains their peaceful intentions, emphasizing their desire to find their missing crew. Diplomatic approach eases the tension, and Jabin explains that the Ocampa live underground. Their access is controlled by the caretaker, who also provides their only source of water. As proof, Jabin points to the bruised woman he is holding as a slave, an Ocampa. He explains that she is one of the few who have managed to reach the surface. Suddenly, Neelix grabs a phaser, points it at Jabin, and demands the Ocampa woman be freed. Things are getting out of hand, Captain. How we should retreat. So let's go ahead and maybe secure the retreat with phaser fire. What is this? 150. Get some deuterium and some geranium. But we're actually going to max out on that anyway. Okay, critical success. Using tactical training, the away team identifies the safest escape route and quickly retreats. The Kazon erupt, mocking laughter, seeing the away team's flight as a sign of weakness. Despite the taunts, the away team manages to escape with no casualties. Great. So we've all leveled up which is fantastic. And we have injury-free bonus of 100, so that's great too. And we gain 200 deuterium rather, 10 science, and 350 crew morale, which is just lovely. Safely back on Voyager, Neelix surprises the rest of the away team as he and the rescued woman kiss passionately. My dearest Kes, didn't I promise I'd save you? I knew you would come for me, my love. You lied and endangered my crew. This is not how you build trust, Mr. Neelix. He was desperate, Captain, but I understand you want to repay you and your crew for saving me. As Jabin said, the access to the underground city is controlled by the caretaker. There's a tunnel. Blah, blah, blah. All right, well, it seems to me we need to get down to where you guys live. We may be able to transport through the barrier of the slightest breach. Transporter signal amplified would be necessary. Excellent idea. Kes, would you help us once we've located the breach? Of course, it's the least I can do. I'm grateful. All right. Let's see here. What do you tell us about the caretaker? Generations, he's provided the Ocampa food, water, energy, and protection. Any idea what he does for, what he came for? No, we have stories and legends about him, but they're just stories and legends. How did you two meet? I met Kes for trading. Yeah, I don't know. That's all very lovely, but I don't really care about that. We need to find our crew. Ask Kes why she came to the surface. Kes, if it's so dangerous on the surface, why did you leave your home? I felt a strong pull to explore the world beyond the city. I yearn for the freedom to discover new things and learn about myself. All right, so people are becoming so dependent on the caretaker, unable to even think for themselves. It was unbearable. We once possessed telepathic abilities, but those atrophied over many generations. All right, great. All right. Because we repaired sickbay, we can actually continue the mission here. So, computer initiate emergency medical holographic program. And the doctor has been activated. Please state the nature of medical emergency. Doctor, our chief medical officer, is dead. You have to take care of sickbay for now and this patient, Kes. There's no need for concern. Capable of treating any injury or disease. Broken ulna, minor bruises and grazes, nothing it can't handle. You're in the most capable hands, young lady. Thank you, doctor. All right. Do my best, Captain. I'm programmed for optical medical care. What else would I do? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a patient to attend to and a sick bay to reorganize. I love, like, early Voyager, and he's so curmudgeonly. All right. Now, we do need to get our science laboratory operational here because we have a tech that we need to research. So let's go ahead and repair that. All right, great. We've got some more quarters operational for the crew. Let's continue to eat into our negative stock of quarterless people here. So let's go ahead and see what else we can repair. I think we're going to need our shields as soon as possible here. So let's go ahead and prioritize our shield generators as well. Okay, science laboratory is complete. Captain, Science Laboratory is back online and researching the signal amplifier that we need to get to the Ocampa. All right, so where is the signal? Is it already set? I think it was actually. Interesting. Oh, there it is. Of course, it's its own special thing. It's transporter signal amplifier. Okay, great. So 3 cycles, and that will be done. All right, let's continue to pick up some resources while we're at it here. All right, there's some science in this debris field here. Let's go ahead and pick that up. And fantastic, the shield generator is operational. That's great. Having shields, defensive shields are a good thing. How are we doing on... Our geranium is full. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some phasers back online. The phaser control room is damaged. We do have 2 work crews, so let's go ahead and assign one of them and use some of our resources to get the phasers back online. Because I think we're going to need them here pretty soon. Is there anything else that we want to repair? I'm thinking we just continue to... yeah, I thinking probably what we want to do is just continue to clear these ruined decks. Okay, spatial anomaly. Our sensors detected a small but stable spatial anomaly. It's not dangerous, but could provide a valuable scientific data, which could speed up our research of our device that we're looking for. We could scan the anomaly with our sensor array, 30 science. Now, we do actually have a science laboratory now, so I'm thinking we go ahead and risk it for a biscuit. Excellent. Excellent outcome here. We gained 40 science from that. Okay, the phaser control room is operational now, so we do actually have phaser power. That's fantastic. And we have completed research on the transport amplifier. Fantastic. Captain, the blueprints for the signal amplifier are complete. However, to start production, we need to repair the workshop. All right, so we don't... dang it. All right, so we don't have a work crew available to do that. So I'm thinking what we're going to do here is... Oh, actually, we did free up one of our work crews. We just didn't choose it yet. So, okay, great. So the phaser control room is operational. So we have phasers back online. So let's go ahead and assign our work crew down to the workshop here. All right, 3 cycles, that'll be operational. We'll build that amplifier and we can continue the mission. All right, so now we do have a free research slot here. So we are on tier 1. There's a couple things that we can research here. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and grab the plasma torch right away. This is going to increase the resources that we gain from clearing those ruined rooms. All right, let's see if we can pick up some more deuterium. We're getting a little bit low. All right. Unfortunately, we've maxed out deuterium again, so it is what it is. Well, we'll continue to explore the system until we have the things repaired. So, ruin room is done. Kind of a weird place for crew quarters, but we're going to put some more crew quarters there as well. 5 cycles. All right, great. The workshop is complete. Workshop's repaired, Captain. Start production of the signal amplifier. Okay, so now we have blueprints for the signal amplifier, so that's going to require some uranium and time. So we'll go ahead and get that going. All right, we made it to another debris field here, so let's see if we can collect some. Unfortunately, I mean, I really wish we could expand our capacity. We don't have any way to do that at the moment until we progress down the tech tree into, I think it's tier 2. All right. Is there anything else to look at? Oh, there's another planet down here. More deuterium. Okay, the signal amplifier has been completed and is ready for use, Captain. It would be wise to make haste back to the Ocampa. Okay, fantastic. Emergency quarters are operational. Fantastic. Now there's only 14 crew members that don't have quarters. Let's go ahead and clear this room as well. We do have another idled crew member, or work team, that is. We do have a ton of geranium, so I'm feeling kind of fancy, so I'm going to start working on get the torpedo launchers operational again. I think we're going to need those too. I really wish we could expand our deuterium reserves as well. It really sucks because we're just losing a lot of it here through collection methods because we just don't have enough in our capacity. But that's fine, though. All right, let's head back to the Ocampa planet. Excellent. Torpedo launchers are complete. And the ruin room is done. So let's go ahead and get some more quarters queued up there. Fantastic. All right, Captain, we've reached our destination. Orders. Let's go ahead and send that away team down. See if we can find our people. So we need an Ocampa. Obviously, we're going to their home planet. So Kess is coming. And looks like we need some engineering and tactical and Starfleet. So let me see. Let's go ahead and pick Tuvok. Does fulfill a good portion of that. We need engineering now too. Now we could pick Tom Paris, Neelix, or Harry Kim. I'm thinking we pick Harry Kim. Can we not pick Harry Kim? Why can't we pick Harry Kim? Guess I'm missing that. Oh, for whatever reason, they won't let us choose them. I don't know why. I guess because it's the tutorial mission. We could pick Chakotay or Tom Paris. Tom Paris does have engineering, which I think was probably what we're going to have to do here. Upon materializing near the tunnel entrance, the group of Kazon is already there, tinkering with security barrier in frustration. As soon as they notice the away team, they draw their weapons. The cowards have returned! Alright. Captain, the Kazon look even more aggressive this time. What are your orders? Alright, so you can see all of our options carry a tick of risk now to the well-being of all of our crew members here. We could chase away the Kazon with phaser fire. It's a pretty good chance that we'll be able to do that. It's 56 out of 60. Now, we could take cover and prepare for a coordinated attack. That's a guaranteed potential, but it would also fatigue both of our crew members and gain us no rewards. Now, we could also just try to make a diversion, but that's not going to work. I think we go ahead and use Tuvok here. All right, success. The away team quickly returns fire with their phasers. The Kazon, though initially confident and surprised by the away team's strong resistance, after a short but intense firefight, the Kazon are forced to retreat. All right, we make our way into the tunnel entrance and we gain 16 uranium. Captain would reach the tunnel entrance using transporter signal fire down to find possible breaches in the security barrier. All right, so we could use the amplifier to locate breaches in the barrier, which is... seems logical to me. Unfortunately, we have like a 50-50 chance of that actually working. Not ideal. So let's go ahead and choose the second option down here. Use the amplifier to locate breaches in the barrier. That's going to use our science, which, between the two of them, we'll get a 100% chance of that working, and we'll gain some science points. The away team deploys the transporter signal amplifier, carefully scanning the barrier for vulnerabilities. After a tense few minutes to locate a small breach, the energy field successfully transport themselves through the opening and into the tunnel. Once they get in there, they see a breathtaking sight. Embedded within a large cavern is a futuristic environment of smooth white walls, glowing in warm white light, sprinkled with patches of green. This is the Okampa City. Captain, we're inside the Okampa City, but it's a maze of streets and chambers. How should we proceed? Well, we're going to need an Okampa, so let's go ahead and choose Cass here. Pretty strong chance, even with her fatigue. Okay, great. Cass approaches the group of Okampa, respectfully asking for assistance in locating the missing Harry and B'Elanna. The Okampa, touched by the concern, eagerly provide directions to the medical facility. The away team eventually finds their crew members and awake but disoriented, surrounded by strange medical equipment. B'Elanna, wary of the unfamiliar faces, instinctively reaches for a weapon. But before any confrontation can occur, the ground starts to shake violently. But we did gain 200 crew morale out of that, which is great. A message from Captain Janeway cuts through the joy of the reading. The caretaker, Ray, has apparently repositioned itself and is now firing at the tunnel entrance. Need to get out of here. All right. Okay, we can lead the team through the collapsing tunnels. Pretty much a guarantee. Or we can clear a path through the obstacles. Yeah, let's go ahead and use our phasers to clear a path through here. We're going to gain some resources, and there's a guaranteed chance of success. Ooh, critical success. The away team clears a path through the collapsing tunnels with their phasers, blast through debris, create a safe passage. They dodge falling rocks and collapsing ceilings, ensuring everyone escapes safely. All right, great. The trimmers interfering with the signal amplifier's focus, Captain. The connection is constantly being interrupted. We can't beam out like this. All right, so we could stabilize the transporter signal with our engineering ability. Pretty strong chance that's not going to work. Or we could analyze the trimmer's interference pattern and recalibrate the transporter signal amplifier accordingly. Even with fatigued Tuvok, I think that's the better option. Another critical success. Team analyzes the tremor's interference pattern and quickly recalibrates the transporter signal, amplifying the compensation. The transporter signal stabilizes and allows them to safely be beamed back to Voyager. So we gained 27 science points. Great. So we got an injury-free bonus, 2 critical successes. Everybody leveled up. Lovely. You love to see it. And B'Elanna's back. Or now part of the crew. Back on Voyager, Harry Kim breathes a sigh of relief with B'Elanna Torres eyes her Starfleet rescuers with suspicion. The Maquis engineer struggles to understand the sudden alliance. Ms. Torres, welcome aboard Voyager. I'm Captain Catherine Janeway. And so Harry Kim, good to have you back. Reporting for duty, Captain. I'd like to say thought I'd never see Voyager again. It's good to be back. What the hell is going on here, Chakotay? Since when are you cozying up to Starfleet? It's a long story, B'Elanna. Let's just say we had to compromise to get back. We share a common goal, getting back home. Anything you learned on the planet could help us. So let's ask what they learned. Tell us about the Okapa. Annoyingly friendly and incredibly naive, they wouldn't last 5 minutes on the surface. Apparently, they've been living underground for over 500 generations. That's a bit of time. It's true, our ancestors lived on the surface once. Called it a warming. The day our surface turned into a desert. On that day, the caretaker appeared and built our city. Since then, he has provided for the Ocampa. A debt that can never be repaid. Say again, Lieutenant Tuvok? There's enough evidence for me to form a reasonable hypothesis, Captain. The Ocampa homeworld turned into a desert from one day to the next. The caretaker's immediate arrival seems to be no coincidence. I'm sure he is responsible for the ecological damage, building an underground city, and carried for them. He seems to be trying to make amends. But how could he cause such devastation? To render a planet incapable of sustaining life? I confess I do not know, Captain. Let's ask if they know anything about the caretaker. Did you learn anything about the caretaker? He's been acting weird lately, apparently abducting people is a new hobby of his. Oh, and he's increased the Ocampa's power supply enough to last them for 5 years, if I recall correctly. And he destroyed the tunnels. It sounds like he's preparing for something, but what? The caretaker mentioned that you might have what he needs. Can you make sense of that? We woke up covered in strange ulcerations. The Ocampa said we were sent away to prevent some kind of a plague. Except we weren't sick before we met the guy. What a crock. They also said the caretaker had sent others with the same disease, but they didn't recover. They died? I want you both in sick bay now. It appears to be a cellular disruption caused by the introduction of foreign genetic material. Their bodies are rejecting it rather violently, I must add. They're fortunate. A few more days, and the cellular disruption would have been fatal. Foreign genetic material, for what purpose? Excellent question, Commander. Appears to have been introduced deliberately, though why anyone want to inject them with incompatible DNA is beyond my comprehension. Prognosis doctor. We've already started the treatment. Looks like they'll be fine and get a full recovery. Captain, there's enough evidence now for a reasonable hypothesis. The caretaker provides the Ocampa with a mere 5 years' worth of energy, then destroys the access tunnels. In addition, he frequently mentioned running out of time. The caretaker has sustained the Ocampa for a millennia. Why this sudden urgency? It is illogical. My conclusion is that he doesn't intend to continue his role as caretaker. The doctor's discovery further confirms my hypothesis. The caretaker is enacting measures to safeguard the Ocampa as long as possible. However, they run out of power eventually. He seeks a successor, one that could continue his work. He explains the abduction and subsequent testing of individuals through various sectors. I believe that the caretaker is dying. If he dies, how the hell are we going to get home? All right. Captain, the caretaker reluctance to cooperate, a more aggressive or more assertive approach may be necessary. Vulcan's right. The overgrown energy blob won't sit us home. We'll blast their way out. Phasers, torpedoes, the whole shebang. I believe a bit more tactical planning is in order. Shields first, then phasers. Well, it's funny you should mention that, because I already repaired the shield generator, the phaser array, and the torpedo launchers. Alright, so let's go ahead and run a test run here. Excuse me, the ace pilot knows more maneuvers than Starfleet can throw Greek letters and numbers together. Except the one for evading Starfleet custody. Gentlemen, enough. Tuvok is right. We need to test our combat systems. Fantastic. So now we're going to showcase the combat in this game, which is interesting. So we're going to be sparring with Chakotay on his Maquis ship. Let's go ahead and actually, this is a side quest here. Let's go ahead and build a cargo bay, because this is going to allow us to increase our storage. Fantastic. Okay. So combat. So effectively, you don't control the ship so much as you provide orders, and you have crew that fulfill those orders for you. So just like on the away team missions, you have crew members that you can assign to different slots here. So we're going to have Tom Paris, Tuvok, and Harry Kim. Now, each of these individuals will have special abilities that we can activate in combat. You can see that it should be fine. We have a 77 versus 51 here.
What are your orders, Captain?
All right, so you can see Voyagers here. We have the Valjean down here as well. And again, you know, we provide orders. We're the commander of the Voyager. We don't actually fire the phasers and the torpedoes necessarily. So let's go ahead and choose orders. And let's go ahead and choose offensive actions. And we're going to have Voyager target the weapons array. And let's go ahead and start. Now, there's a cooldown time for all these special abilities here and activate. And once they're available, then we can use them. So we can do shield hacking, coordinated attack, and evasive maneuvers.
Ability ready, Captain. Ability ready, Captain.
All right, evasive maneuvers, fantastic. All right, fantastic. All right, so you can see that we've done a fair bit of damage on our their front shields here, and their weapons array has taken quite a bit of damage.
Ability ready, Captain. Ability ready, Captain.
Now, we do have torpedoes, but we have a limited amount of them, 38, and we wouldn't want to waste those on this type of combat unless we had to. Look at that. And victory, if anyone was concerned, we weren't going to have victory against a Maquis fighter, but here we are. Now, combat gets a lot more complicated. You can have multiple ships engage you at the same time. So, in any case, we can get into that later, but it's certainly fighting more than the Maquis fighter, and maybe, you know, when you encounter the Borg or the Vidians or the Kazon, are certainly going to be a little bit more challenging. Boom! That's how it's done. Okay, so the Valjean is going to follow us over to the array and, you know, help us out here. Okay, let's go ahead and set a course for the planet. We need to get back to the array. We need to get back to that system. So let's go ahead and get Voyager moving. Okay, plasma torch is done. Emergency quarters are complete. All right, we've made it back to the caretaker's array. Captain, we've reached our destination. Orders. Let's go ahead and continue. Uh-oh. Seems we were expected, Captain. It's the Kazon. They're hailing us. They're probably not calling a chat. All right, so Chakotay's over on his Maquis fighter. Excellent idea, but let's see what the Kazon have to say first. Ah, the cowards have returned. Come to beg for scraps, have you? All we care about is getting home, Jabin. We'll beam over to the array and see if we can arrange that. No, I won't allow that. We have no dispute with you. Of course not. Cowards rarely do. This is absurd. We have no intention of challenging you. Step aside and let the strong claim the prize. The array is mine. Jabin, we can discuss this like two Oh, he disconnected, Captain. They're powering up their weapons. Battle stations. All right, we've got 2 Kazon support craft and a Kazon carrier here, but we also have the Maquis Raider with Chakotay. I think we'll probably be all right.
What are your orders, Captain?
All right, let's go ahead and... I think we should probably focus on the carrier more than likely. Has the most weaponry. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What's the worst that could happen? Let's go ahead and target its weapons. And that's a big ship. Okay, open the command menu. At any point and give new orders. Yep. Lovely. Okay, combat is paused. Yes, I know. Okay, I see what's happening here. So we've lost our our port shields. So we need to address that as soon as possible. Defensive actions, defend the port shields.
You can defend the port side, Captain.
Try to get those shields back operational. All right, if we can get their shields down, we could fire some torpedoes.
Shields down, Captain.
All right, so yeah, darn port again. Okay.
Shields destroyed, Captain. Ability ready, Captain. Ability ready, Captain.
All right, let's. We need more power for the port shields. All right. We're taking some damage. We're definitely taking some damage here. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to switch over to more offensive.
Ability ready, Captain.
Fantastic. We did take a fair bit of damage. Hull strength is down to 40%. We were at 56%, so that's not great. All right, so yeah, so we can combat allies. This gives us some more information here, but we can go over that. That went better than I expected. Our Raider is still in good shape. Keep it close by just in case the Kazon show up. You are strong, Captain, but there's strength in numbers. I've called for reinforcements. The array is mine. Then I guess you don't have much time. Hail the array. Well, aren't you persistent? We need you to send us back home. Impossible. Barely enough strength to complete my work. I must protect the Ocampa. If I don't, the Kazon will still their water. They won't be able to survive. Alright, so we could do some optional things here. We can confront him. I think we go with more kind of the diplomatic option here. You ever consider allowing the Ocampa to care for themselves? They're children. Children grow up. They need challenges. Maybe the Ocampa is stronger than you think. Send us home. You've dragged us into this. We need you to send us... Captain, Jabin wasn't bluffing. His reinforcements have arrived. I could try to access the array's systems to transport us to the Alpha Quadrant, Captain. No, I'm fading. Time is up. If you leave, the array will be left to the Kazon. They will annihilate the Ocampa. You must destroy it. Don't listen to him. We'll be stranded. Please protect the Ocampa. And just like that, the caretaker fades away, collapsing into an inert, crystalline form. Janeway is now faced with an impossible choice. Return home to the Alpha Quadrant, leaving the Ocampa defenseless, or sacrifice Voyager's return to ensure their safety. The clock is ticking. He's gone. Captain, the Kazon are closing in. Shall I try to access the primary control systems to send us back? All right, we've got our choice. Do we destroy the array, or do we access the primary control systems to return home? Well, if I'm playing this in the most Star Trek-y way, there's only really one choice here. Let's go ahead and access the primary... No, I'm just kidding. We'll destroy the array. We're not going to leave the Kazon to destroy the Ocampa. All right, choice has consequences. Never asked to be involved, but we are. I won't trade the lives of the Ocampa for our convenience. Lieutenant Tuvok readied the tri-cobalt devices. What are you doing? The rays are the only way out of here. You can't. I can, and I will. Tri-cobalt devices are ready, Captain. Fire. Just like that, the caretaker's array is gone. We'll find another way home, I promise. Who do you think you are making a decision for all of us? It was the right decision, B'Elanna. The Okampa, the remnant of our people. We're fighting a more powerful enemy to protect our own. The Okampa deserve that too. 70,000 light years. We're really stranded, aren't we? Great. I'll definitely miss my next parole review. A missed parole review should not be your primary concern at this moment, Mr. Paris. Thanks, Tuvok. I hadn't thought about that. Jabin is hailing us, Captain. You've made an enemy today. Mr. Paris, put some distance between us and this place. Voyager's hull can be damaged in combat and different things, yada, yada, yada. So basically that's going to happen is that we're in worse shape than ever before. Hull strength is fairly low here, but what we can do is we can use our work crews to boost our hull strength. So effectively, we use one of our idle work crews in the engineering laboratory, or the workshop rather, to slowly over time repair the hull damage from decisions, from combat, so on and so forth. All right, I think this is probably a good enough place as any to put a cut for today. This has been a little taste of Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown. I really like the feel of this game. I don't know how to put it, but it is a very Star Trek-y experience. You feel like you are the captain of a Federation starship, managing the crew, managing resources. The decisions that you make, the away teams that you send, all of these things are weighty and have consequences and affect your overall mission long term. Certainly, if we were to lose a critical crew member, we can't go back and undo that mistake and have them back. And so maybe down the road, things won't go as well for us as they did in the TV series. Spoiler, in the TV series, they get home. But can you do that? It's basically Oregon Trail in space. If that sounds awesome to you, and I hope it does, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. Thinking we'll probably play a little bit more Star Trek Voyager down the road. I've got some other ideas for some other games that have been in my my wish list for some time that I have not had a moment to play, and I'd love to do that. But of course, we'll be getting back into Hoi 4 here pretty soon. I've got some new achievements I want to explore, and I would love to have you guys there along with for the ride. So again, this is Greg the Gamer. If you've enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out tremendously. Anyways, I hope you guys have a terrific day. And again, live long and prosper.